Why do we call this letter W instead of double V in English? Well, let's go back to its original origins in Latin. This letter right here is pronounced as U. It could potentially be elongated into U, hence being a double U, despite looking like what we would consider right now to be a V in modernity. So why did the letter look like this if it's pronounced like U? Have you ever tried carving curves into stone or clay? You could do it for an art project. You could motivate yourself to do it for a one-time thing, but it's so impractical with how long it would take. Naturally, it just makes more sense for this type of writing system to just have everything without curves. All of these curved letters that exist now had older variants where they were just straight lines. This famous example, Veni Vidi Vici, is not pronounced like that. That is based off of the pronunciation of modern Italian. It would have actually been pronounced like this: Veni Vidi Vici. If this vowel was going to behave like a consonant, it was still written in the same way. And debatably at that point, it would behave more like an approximant than a true consonant. Over time, as the method of writing changed, for example using quill pens, etc., now there needs to be a more practical way for that medium. At this point in time, doing these straight lines is impractical due to the flowing nature of a pen and quill. So, language evolves. The way that you write it evolves. You have now all these different curved variants of letters that were once considered to be just straight, jagged lines. So, now that we know that there's no difference between U and V, historically speaking, other than the fact of one is easier to write on a tablet and one is easier to write in cursive script or flowing ink, etc., etc., now we know they're the same letter. So naturally, W, double V. Same thing. V, U, and W are all historically the same letter. Languages like English, where W is pronounced more like this, W, W, more similar to a vowel, naturally double U. And then you have languages like French and Spanish, where they say double V because of what it looks like, and it's not typically a letter that you see in those languages. U, V, V. If you take the letter U and you apply more friction, ooh, 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 you get that in-between letter that I just mentioned that exists, for example, in some dialects of Spanish. Apply even more friction and make it so the friction is also hitting your teeth. See? You naturally get to V. These three letters are actually very similar in how you articulate them. And because W is the same letter historically as U and V, naturally, some languages just treat W as if it were one of those other two. So German treats W like V, and it treats V like a shorter variant of W. So in German, V is a sound that W makes, but F is a sound that V makes. Almost like you're taking the sound, which is voiced, meaning if you put your hand to your vocal cords, V, you can feel the vibration, it's voiced, versus F, voiceless, you won't feel any vibration. And then you have languages like Welsh, which treat W just like a vowel. Happy language learning.